Hi guys, Ms. Nusik here. So we're going to go ahead and look at how we are going to be formatting our characterization and setting analysis over the giver. Okay, so you're going to obviously start out writing your introduction. You have your hook, your bridge, your summary, and then your thesis. Okay, same parts as last time in the same exact order. Same thing as last time. With your hook, you want to have something very broad. Okay, think of that inverted triangle. From your hook, you're going to want to either talk about characterization, setting, something that is going to relate to what we're focusing on, which is again the major, minor characters, static, dynamic, flat, round. Okay. From there, you're going to write your bridge. Then you're going to tell me in your bridge how your hook, you're going to explain it. Okay. And then how it relates to the novel itself. Basically, why are we talking about this in our hook and how is the author using it in the story? Then you can provide the summary of either the novel or you can tell the readers why characterization and setting are used by authors. Okay, what's the purpose behind using those? Pick one of the two, don't pick both. Remember, your summary needs to be 4 sentences max, meaning it doesn't go over. Okay? Then you have your thesis, what your essay is going to be about. Again, you're proving that characterization and setting help to develop the theme. You need to have 3 reasons in your thesis, okay? Because you're talking about the characterization, you're talking about the setting, and you're also talking about the theme, okay? 3 things that you're going to be talking about. You can go ahead and say the author, our author of The Giver is Lois Lowry, okay? You can say The Giver. Now, because The Giver is a novel, it's going to be italicized, not in quotation marks, okay? And make sure that you put your theme on the end. Now, if you want to look at a sample, click the hyperlink that says example, and it will take you to something that looks like this exact document, okay? This is set up in MLA format. If you need to look at how that is, it's here on your graphic organizer had our hyperlink for you in the paper setup, okay? So let's go ahead and let's read this through. Stephen King writes, "The primary duty of literature is to tell the truth about ourselves by telling us lies about the people who never existed." King writes how characters are essential to people's lives to determine the truth about themselves by comparing themselves. Authors use characterization and setting to develop how characters interact. Characterization is a concept of author's craft where the authors choose to give or negate depth or change to the characters. Authors also choose to decide whether or not to directly tell readers the information about characters to accurately portray the concepts that authors want readers to understand and know. Authors also use a setting where the story takes place, in addition to the characters and their interactions to develop themes throughout the novel. Although many characters are important within the story The Giver, the characterization of The Giver and Larissa, along with the setting of the House of the Old, helps to develop the theme that humans have selfish tendencies that impact and drive their actions. Okay, you'll notice that this is about half a page, which is what your introduction also needs to at least be. Okay, anything that is less than this, the highlighted section, okay, so if it's just this top half, that's not enough. Okay, it needs to be that aiming for that full half page. Okay, so let's break it down. The very first thing that you see is this quotation by Stephen King. That's going to be our hook. We're hooking the readers in because we're talking about what the primary of literature is, which is to tell about ourselves and the people who never existed, which are the characters. Okay, so there's our focus, the characters. Then we explain our hook. King writes how characters are essential to people's lives to determine the truth about themselves and comparing them to others. Then we say authors use characterization and setting to help develop how characters interact. This entire thing is our bridge because we're going from something very broad to something more narrow and specific. Again, that characterization and setting. Then we talk about characterization and setting, which is going to be our summary. Okay? We say characterization is a concept, and we talk about what that concept is. We say why authors have chosen to use this and how they've chosen to use it by either directly telling or indirectly telling. And then we also say why authors use a setting and how characters are developed through that. And finally, we have our thesis, okay? We have, although many characters are important within the story, The Giver, that should say within the novel, The Giver. the characterization of, and then I specifically say who I'm going to be talking about in my essay. My major character is going to be the giver, and my minor character is going to be Larissa. And then we're also going to talk about the setting, which is going to be the House of the Old. Okay. So these three different things and how they all help to develop the theme. Okay. And we want to specifically say our theme. And that's what your example of your introduction should look like.